Hello and welcome to Brilliant POV. Welcome to our shocking expose on the American politicians who have been convicted of heinous crimes. From bribery and corruption to tax evasion and misusing campaign funds, these individuals have abused their power and betrayed the trust of the American people. Bob Menendez is a Democratic senator from New Jersey who was indicted on corruption charges in 2015. He was accused of accepting gifts from a wealthy donor in exchange for political favors. In 2018, Menendez was found guilty on some of the charges, but the verdict was later overturned on appeal. The appeal is still ongoing. Ted Stevens was a Republican senator from Alaska who served in the Senate from 1968 to 2009. In 2008, he was indicted on charges of failing to disclose gifts on his financial disclosure forms. Stevens was found guilty of these charges in October of that year, but the verdict was later overturned due to prosecutorial misconduct. The case was dismissed in 2009. Stevens died in a plane crash in 2010. William J. Jefferson was a Democratic representative from Louisiana who served in Congress from 1991 to 2009. In 2005, the FBI raided his Washington, D.C. office and found $90,000 in cash hidden in his freezer. This led to an investigation into allegations of corruption and bribery, and in 2009, Jefferson was indicted on 16 counts related to these charges. He was found guilty on 11 of the counts and sentenced to 13 years in prison. Jefferson appealed the verdict, but it was upheld by a federal appeals court in 2011. He was released from prison in 2017. Duke Cunningham was a Republican representative from California who served in Congress from 1991 to 2005. In 2005, it was revealed that Cunningham had accepted over $2 million in bribes from defense contractors in exchange for steering government contracts their way. He pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit bribery, mail fraud, and tax evasion, and was sentenced to over 8 years in prison. Cunningham served his prison sentence and was released in 2013. Jim Traficant was a Democratic representative from Ohio who served in Congress from 1985 to 2002. In 2002, he was indicted on charges of bribery, tax evasion, and racketeering. He was found guilty on all counts and sentenced to prison. Traficant served his prison sentence and was released in 2009. He died in 2014. Michael Grimm is a Republican who served as a representative from New York from 2011 to 2015. In 2014, he was indicted on charges of tax evasion and hiring undocumented immigrants at his restaurant. Grimm pleaded guilty to 1 count of tax evasion and was sentenced to 8 months in prison. He served his prison sentence and was released in 2016. After his release, Grimm ran for his old seat in Congress, but he was defeated in the election. Jesse Jackson Jr. is a Democratic politician who served as a representative from Illinois from 1995 to 2012. In 2013, he pleaded guilty to misusing campaign funds and was sentenced to 30 months in prison. Jackson served his prison sentence and was released in 2015. He is the son of civil rights leader Jesse Jackson. Mark Soljander is a former Republican representative from Michigan who served in Congress from 1981 to 1987. In 2010, he was indicted on charges of obstruction of justice and acting as an unregistered foreign agent. Soljander was accused of accepting money from an Islamic charity to lobby for the removal of the charity from a list of organizations suspected of supporting terrorism. He was found guilty on both counts and sentenced to prison. Soljander served his prison sentence and was released in 2013. William J. Jefferson is a former Democratic representative from Louisiana who served in Congress from 1991 to 2009. In 2005, the FBI raided his Washington, D.C. office and found $90,000 in cash hidden in his freezer. This led to an investigation into allegations of corruption and bribery, and in 2009, Jefferson was indicted on 16 counts related to these charges. He was found guilty on 11 of the counts and sentenced to 13 years in prison. Jefferson appealed the verdict, but it was upheld by a federal appeals court in 2011. He was released from prison in 2017. These are just a few examples of the corrupt politicians who have betrayed the American people. It's time to hold them accountable and demand justice. Thank you for watching. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.